Hi everybody, just thought I'd give you a quick look at my next little project. You'll watch some of my videos in the past, you'll know I've already spent a considerable amount of money having tree work done at my property. This entire garden, the full length of that fence line was trees. There was a massive conifer slap bang in front of this window, and there was another little one further down the garden which I removed a while ago. Now I've just had two more trees removed just a few weeks ago. I'm just about to see where the stumps are, just down there. Well, you can see some of the old stumps, but the two I've just had done, if I can get my finger in shot, those two just there, you can see freshly cut. Now, to have some work done on this other big beech tree here, he was talking about topping it to about level with the roof of the block of flats, which I'm not sure that's a good idea, because I've seen big trees that have had major work done to them. If you chop through big limbs, thick limbs, then what tends to happen is you get lots of little tiny thin branches shoot out of it as a reaction to the tree. Knowing that it's sustained a lot of damage, it goes into a bit of a crazy growing spree. And they actually are trees, I'm sure most people have probably seen them, where they just look a bit strange because you've got a big thick branch and then just loads of little branches coming off them, and they just end up looking a bit strange. So personally, I'd rather just actually remove some whole limbs. The main culprit being this big one you can see here. That's actually, I don't know, it'll show how long that actually is on the camera, but that's actually a good length. So I'm going to take that off, and actually possibly considering taking the whole stem all the way up as well. Or that actually forks into two up there, maybe just removing one of them. Not decided on that yet. And then get near the top and thin it out a bit basically. Then a bit further down, you'll see the other beech tree that's there, that splits into a V. Now the V is actually starting to push the fence over just there. That's actually pushing the fence over, and I've broke a bit of fence there, so I want to chop that bit off to the right. I'll take that off completely. And then I also want to reduce the ones at the bottom. That's actually in very poor condition, that birch tree. Big rotten piece where that section's off to the right there. There's actually a massive big hole in the branch there that's just totally rotten away. But I want to get up high, not cut it down completely, but again, maybe remove some complete limbs off of there and thin it all out a bit. So, pretty big job to take on. That one, they were talking about another £1,000, or just under £1,000, to attack this big one. So I thought I spent enough money on trees. I've decided I'm going to have a go at it myself, so I'll show you some of the equipment I've got. I already had a little bit of tree climbing stuff, but I shall just get some bits and bobs out and I'll show you what I've got. Okay guys, we'll start off with my latest purchase. I've literally just got this a few days ago. So this is a 12-inch top-handled air chainsaw. These are much better if you're actually using a chainsaw in a tree. The fact that you can operate it one-handed, you've got your trigger on the top here. Most chainsaws, the trigger will actually be back here somewhere, so you actually need both hands to operate it, because you need one hand up the top holding, then you need your hand back here somewhere to press the trigger. So these are specifically designed to use while you're actually climbing about in a tree. I got this for, it was just under £75 on eBay. It looks the part. I've not as much as started it yet, but it certainly seems to be decent quality. It's probably just a little bit short. It's probably about 11 inches you're probably going to get when you take into account this little spike bar area for resting against the bar, the limb that you're cutting. So most top-handle chainsaws you see seem to advertise as only being 10 inches, so this was a foot. I thought, well, I'll go for the slightly bigger one. Might be a bit slightly heavier, but just to give me that little bit more scope on the bigger branches. So it is comfy to hold. It's I forget the exact weight now. I think it's something like 3 kilograms without the fuel or the bar oil in. So pretty easy. You're going to be able to use it one-handed while you're clambering about on a tree without too much hassle. Got the usual features of safety brakes. Should you get any kickback and you're holding here, and sort of like the saw kicks back, your hand will force that bar forward and that pops on an automatic brake. That will stop the chain spinning. Then simple on off, and your choke at the back here. So I'm looking forward to having a go with that. Job Sites, the name of it, so on eBay that come from. And you just got your fuel tank at the top and your bar oil at the bottom. So you think I'm talking in the region of £1,000 just to deal with that one tree, and it's that and the ones at the bottom. So I bought that. I've also bought a better harness than I had before, which I'll dig that out shortly. I'm not sure where I put that. Got an array of. I've got a few of these carabiners. Now, if you ever decide to have a clamber about in a tree, make sure the carabiners you buy are ones that are rated for climbing on. This red one is. I've got 2 more of these. So these are rated. Where are we? Eyesight's not getting any better. They need about 22 kN or something, which kilonewtons actually works out to something like, if you look it up, these can hold something in the region of about 2,000 kilograms. So there's absolutely no danger of that snapping with me swinging about on it. So I'm about 78 kilograms, so can be perfectly safe and secure with that. These ones, on the other hand, these are lightweight carabiners. These are just meant for clipping tools onto your belt, things like that. So if a carabiner is rated, it will be stamped on there what the kilonewton rating is, whereas these don't, because these are just tools. Got a little weighted bag, usually to help chuck your line up over the high branches, so you can kind of pull your rope up. So just gives you something nice and steady to put a little rope around and throw that up there just to get your rope up. Also got a cheap and cheerful helmet, just in case any branches dropping on me while I'm cutting. And obviously the face mask handy, you've got the chainsaw above you, because they do throw out a good amount of chippings, so saves you getting all them in your face. I've had this for a while now. This has been well used. This is a little silky F180 pruning saw. These are well good. You won't believe how well these little hand saws cut. These silkies, the ones you see most of professional tree surgeons using. This is one of the smaller ones they do, in fact probably the smallest one. The thickness of branches I've cut through with that effortlessly, you would not believe. These are like this, about £20 off eBay. You can get replacement blades for about a tenner, but the amount of work you'll do before you wear the blade out, you won't be buying one for a long time. And we're not talking little branches, we're talking like branches the thickness of your arm, and they go through it like it's absolutely nothing. So if you want a good pruning saw, I know you see them in the DIY stores and that, but I'll bet you they won't cut anything like this thing does. That's been worth every single penny of £20 that was. The problem I had when I'd done a little bit of tree work before, when I was cutting some of my conifer down, I'd bought this lanyard. What you do with these, this would hook either side of your saddle when you're climbing up. But the problem I bought when I was doing it on the cheap last time round, the harness I bought was just the type you use for doing rock climbing. And the trouble with that was they only have one strong point on the front of the harness. So what should happen is this connection would be hooked to one side of your harness, and then when you get up a tree, you'd throw it round. Imagine that's the limb of the tree when you're stood by it. You'd throw that round, hook it on the other side. You've got some adjustment on this rope. You can pull it in and out, adjust the length by pressing this button. Now with the one where there was only one strong point on the front, the problem was because this was all really close together, if you twisted in a certain way, the rope could actually press the button. So you could be there like not holding onto the tree and like accidentally press the button by mistake. Or I'd say just the way you're twisting about, the rope could actually come back and press that button in like that. So I couldn't use this the first time round. So I have bought myself a proper harness now that's got the strong connections on the front, and you've got two on the side for using these things. So I'll dig that out and show you that shortly. I did buy a proper arborist rope, so that is a proper tree climbing rope. So wouldn't recommend just using any old thing like that yellow one. I bought that just for general stuff and chopping up for bits and bobs. So that's a proper tree climbing out. Again, this is probably rated to well over 2,000 kilos. Also bought a foot strap and a sender. Now the way these would work, this would be clipped down on the front of your harness, and basically these are senders. You would put the climbing rope into that, and you basically use these to help pull yourself up. You could like stand on that foot strap, so you got to set these all up so the foot strap and the hand bit are just right. But basically you'd have a bit of slack on this hand ascender. You push up on that, so you work your hand up, and then as you try to pull down on it, then this cam locks into place, so you can kind of get some strength on that, pull yourself up a bit, and you can sort of like use the foot strap again. It's a little bit awkward to explain this, how this all works, but basically it aids you climbing up the tree. This is another thin bit of stuff. This again is highly rated. This will support your body weight. So again, I won't go into how all this works, but that's another thing. And this I just thought I'd buy for cutting up, for making little loops for things like the handsaw and that. You can just make a little loop out of this, and you can just easy to strap onto your belt then. Right, I'll find my harness and give you a quick look at that. Alright, last item. This I've only just bought as well. Surprisingly, this only cost, I think it was £25, surprisingly, because I paid about that much for the little bloody rock climbing one, which is nowhere near as substantial as this. The all important part this one has is you have them strong points on your sides, so you can use that lanyard where you can wrap around a tree. And again, these are obviously rated to support your full body weight. And you've got two tool loops on there, decent thickness, bit to go around your back light for comfort, and decent enough lead straps for the price as well. So I say on that rock climbing one, this again, though this is made of material, this is rated to hold your body weight. Now on the little rock climbing one, that is all you had. So to have both parts of that lanyard hooked onto there, it just didn't work out. It would have been very dangerous to use it. Whereas now I've got the side pieces, I shall be fine with doing that. So say for £25, again, very cheap. Comes a little, it's only a little cheap material, like, but little carry bag, lasts for a while before it rips. So I already had some stuff, so I was looking at £1,000 for doing that tree. So we're buying a chainsaw, buying this, let's call that an extra £100. So just doing that one tree, I'll save £900, and then I'll have the trees at the bottom to do as well. So hopefully it is all going to go well. So I say the helmet I already had, and the ropes and all that I had from when I did a little bit of work on the conifer that I worked on. So I bought an extra carabiner, so I've got 3 carabiners that can support me, my full body weight. And I think I've got enough here to hopefully safely tackle all these trees. I just looked out with this garden. This entire garden was nothing but trees. So I think because I'm the N1, and obviously that beech tree is well overgrown. Again, that's pushing at the fence on this top half as well, but that's not actually pushing against it hard enough to push it over, but it is actually touching it. So I shall try and get some footage when I do it, even if it's just a bit of frame lapse, and we shall see if I pull it off successfully without coming a cropper. Right, that's it for now. Catch you all later.